You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm.
C1Music.fm, the familiar. It's your boy Deuce. We're definitely in the building, you know, we do all day, every day. Tonight, show topic is called Honest Truth. And tonight we're going to be kicking it a little bit. I'm not going to try to beat everybody in the head tonight. We're just going to, get it in quickly. We're going to be coming out of Jeremiah chapter 12 as our main topic scripture. But in the meantime, let's start off with a couple of songs and get it in. All right? Tonight's topic is Honest Truth. If you want to call in, excuse me, if you want to call in, the number is 908-316-8597. You can definitely join us there. We're on the Spreaker network. You can look us up at Spreaker.com, and in the message part, you can. For some reason, I hear myself. I don't know why. Hold on just a second here. All right. So, in the music part, you should be able to. In the music part, you should be able to hear everything. Actually, I lost my train of thought, so let me come back. Spreaker.com, in the search part, put C1Music.fm in there, and you should see the show page. Click on the familiar, and we should be there. All right? C1Music.fm, we're going to start it off with some Hillsong. I'll get us going tonight, all right? C1Music.fm, the familiar. Holla at your boy. Let's get it.
Savior, I come, quiet my soul. Remember, redemption's hill, where your blood was spilled for my ransom. Everything I once held dear, I counted all as lost. Lead me to the cross where your love poured out. Bring me to my knees, Lord, I lay me down. Rid me of myself, I belong to you. Oh, lead me to the cross.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. Unfamiliar.
More of the same, I'm cornered the game. Back and forth and back with the names. Recording pain, you play back when them insecurities rang. And I ain't even got an answer, but the question remain. Why everything inside of my brain not applied, it's insane. But hey yo, I'm trying to change. Decided to ditch my strength and rely on the king. Mama said at the end of yourself is where it began. So I'm totally free, embracing my limitations. Wishing my heart moved the same pace as this information. I pray this ain't strange what I'm saying, but I'm trying to find a back door to your imagination. I'm here, let me in to be clear. I'm bringing something, make you wonder who's the one that gave the gifts that I bear. What happened next? I think about it. Do you ever? I can give you an answer, but a question, do you better like?
Have you ever loved the pleasures of this world when it's insanity? Yeah, 'cause it's killing me. Have you ever tried to be something you're not? 'Cause I've been searching for security. Oh, no, no, no. His love is all we got.
I'm trying to go from selfish to selfless. Not just thinking about my needs, but someone else's. All these pretty women in my city isn't helping. No matter how hot that body, one day it's melting, yo. A good lie got a little truth in it, so I'm trying to decide what's real and embellished. The money coming in, so everybody's good, fellas. I don't trust them, no phone numbers, tell them email us. Can you tell? I've been affected by this industry, numbers and CD sales. What the heck has gotten into me? I had to ask myself, what's a win for me? Do I worship God or what other people think of me? Sobering thoughts depleting my hot air. Thinking about this world when I'm not here. Will I treasure money or the moments that we share? It's funny how seeing death can make life so clear. I got a girlfriend, but so long it feels weird. It's not like, yo, can I get to know you? More like meet my parents. I think I'm scared 'cause it's serious. And every time I tell somebody they trying to marry us, pump the brakes. I think I love her, but them words ain't been said still. 'Cause last time I did, things didn't end well. Plus, my past was hashtag bench real. It's time to grow up. You know what? I ain't trying to be another bum that's just scared of committing. Take everything from these women and go missing. I gotta kill the wicked part of my heart that keeps pimping. If I ain't got the strength, then I know where to get it. You live different when you know you've been forgiven. This love is forever, don't you ever forget it. You live different when you know you've been forgiven. This love is forever, don't you ever forget it.
Have you ever loved the pleasures of this world when it's insanity? 'Cause it's killing me. Have you ever tried to be something you're not? 'Cause I've been searching for security. Oh, no, no, no. His love is all we got. Please speak your mind. I'm wide open. Love you for
are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.FM. Unfamiliar.
He said he don't wanna face it. Turned his back on you, girl. Skipped town without leaving any traces. So sad kind of world, ayy. Got you mad at your life, ayy, ayy. Sitting sad, acting like you don't care, like you don't care, like you don't care, like you don't care, like you don't care. She said she'll never need a man or the dollars in his hand, but let me tell you this is when no one wants us. Jesus, he does. I'm saying don't love them dollar signs. You're gonna hate when you don't find the peace of mind you had in mind. He said he don't wanna face it, living life on the run. The only money that he gets is when he takes it. Gotta provide for his son, ayy. Now he's mad at his life, ayy, ayy. Mad at God, thinking that he don't care, that he don't care, that he don't care, that he don't care, that he don't care. He said he'll never see the gates, gonna live his life in hate. But let me tell you, wait, when no one loves us, Jesus, he does. Don't love them dollar signs. Hate when you don't find the peace of mind you had in mind. And when your world seems to fall, you've got no one at all. Call out his name. When you think nobody does, he's here to care for us. So call out his name. Don't be ashamed. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It will be okay when no one wants us. Jesus, he does. Don't love them dollar signs. You're gonna hate when you don't find peace of mind you had in mind.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.FM. Unfamiliar.
C1Music.FM, The Familiar. It's your boy Deuce. We definitely in the building, you know how we do. All day, every day. And we ain't here holding it down. I got a caller on the line. What's going on, caller?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good.
That's good. So, caller, we are... I don't know if everybody heard that mute part. I'm sorry about that, if you heard that. We are talking about... Today's topic is... If you guys don't know, it's called Honest Truth. And that's today's topic. And you guys gotta work with me here because of the simple fact that I don't know, I still got a little bit of congestion bothering me. And I'm trying to fight with it and get it out the way. And it's putting up a fight with me, so please Please, please, please forgive me. Forgive me, Carm?
Yes, I do.
God bless your soul. With that being said, tonight's topic is called Honest Truth. I was hoping to get a couple of more people on, but we're going to try to get this conversation going as soon as we possibly can. And before I want to get started, I want to let everybody know from the get-go that one of the panelists, I hired her to conduct her own show now, and she's going to be running her own show. Her name is Miriam. And I don't know if she's going to have a DJ name or not as of yet, but she's starting her own show on C1 Music, which is going to be called GG Talks. GG Talk. And I believe that stands for God's Girl Talk. And she's going to be hosting a show Monday nights. So we're going to be on air on Monday nights from 8:30, and I believe the show is going to run between an hour and a half to 2 hours. I want everybody who supports my show to support her show. It's going to be mainly catered around females from a woman perspective, a Proverbs 31 woman perspective, a godly woman perspective. But she is going to deal with real issues. I guess for all ages. So I want you guys to definitely support her as she's as I help support her ministry and she helps supports me and the radio station, and I think that's going to be something that's interesting. I'm excited. I can't wait for her to get started, and it brings another dynamic to what we're trying to do. So that one is going to be specifically for the ladies. Sorry, guys, but it should be interesting. And I am going to still tune in and support her and listen and see what's going on with the ladies and see if I could take some of her information and maybe have an open forum on our show to talk about. But once in a while. But I want you guys to support her as much as you possibly can. Support the show. I hope the ratings go up for that show, and definitely please support that new talk show. All right, today we're talking about honest truth. If you want to call in, the number to give us a call is 908-316-8597. If you want to join us from your computer, you can log on from Google Chrome and Google Chrome only, www.uberconference.com/C1 Music. All right, and you'll be able to join the conversation. Also, we're on the Spreaker network. You can listen to the show. I believe you're listening to the show already if you're hearing this, but if you're listening to the show or if you joined the conference call or whatever the case may be, we're on Spreaker Network. Look us up on Spreaker Network in the search bar, c1music.fm, and you will see tonight's show being broadcasted live. Today's show is Honest Truth. Do I talk too much, Carm? Or I'm just giving out the information. You dig me?
I dig you just giving out information.
That's what we do. Tonight, we're coming out of Jeremiah chapter 12. And we're going to talk about some of the first few verses of Jeremiah and the conversation he's having with God. But first, before I get into that, I want to ask Carm, because I have Carm on the air with me now, and I'm hoping that a few more people call in with us, Carm. But until that happens, I want to ask this question. Are you there, Carm?
Yes, I am.
All right. Was there ever a time in your life where things were going bad for you and you felt like you was doing everything right, everything you're supposed to do?
let's say you study for a test. Just giving you an example. Let's say you study for a test, and the person that didn't study for the test went out, party, did everything, and when y'all went to go take the test, you didn't do good on the test, and the person who partied aced the test. This as an example. Was there ever a point in time in your life where you experienced a situation where you had to look at it and said, you know what? Sometimes the good people don't win.
Yes. Actually, the example that you gave, I did experience that in college, and it boggled me. I spent lots of time for a business statistics test, and there were some members of some sports teams who I know goofed off and played all the time, partied. There was a party the night before, and they aced the test. And they were definitely not rocket scientists. And I studied so hard, and I got a C. And I was floored.
You were floored?
I was very happy with that. Mm-hmm.
Did they make fun of you?
They didn't make fun of me. They just, kind of said, that's what it was. That's how it is. I'm thinking, did they cheat? I mean, how did they get an A and I didn't? And I really studied.
So you're thinking that they cheated?
They could have. I mean, I don't know if they cheated or not, but initially that's how I felt. It was like, there's no way you could have made a better grade than me. And I know that you're goofing off and playing.
Right. Agree? I hate that too, when you put in the work that you're supposed to put in, and let's say you worked all summer to make the sports team or the track team or whatever, and when it's time for them to pick somebody, you're not the one that they pick, and you put in the work, you disciplined yourself enough to make it happen. I want to know, for my callers out there who listen in, give us a call and let us know if you ever share experience with us. If that ever happened to you. You know what I'm saying? I would be more than hearing it. You know what I'm saying? Ironically enough, what did you let's take the ironic part back. Let me ask this question, Carm. Did you ever have a conversation with your teacher about why you got a C?
Actually, no. I didn't talk to my professor on this. What I did some background information and talking to older classmen, which they call old heads on the campus, to find out, what's the track record with this particular professor. This was a tenured professor, and he was a little rough around the edges. He can pretty much say what he wanted to say because he was tenured, and he wrote the book. So I didn't really necessarily feel comfortable coming to talk to him head on, and he had a tendency to like the ladies. So I didn't feel comfortable going to him directly, and I found out some interesting things in, like, the sports, or the athletes said, this is how it goes, pretty much how it goes. That's what I found out. So, I continued to do the best I could and just let it be done. So I ended up making a C in that class, and I worked really hard for that C. I usually make good grades without having to work so hard, but that's just the way it is sometimes.
So that's just the way it was. Can't even say nothing else about it. That's just the way it was.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that. Happens to the best of them. I guess that's what people would say, right?
Right, but I mean, if you constantly do that all your life, then it'll catch up with you.
True indeed. Well, the reason I asked that question is because when we get into our topic, I believe Jeremiah was having a heart-to-heart with God about this very honest truth, So let me ask you this question. And Carl, I'm sorry for picking on you. but you're helping my conversation flow a little bit. Was there ever a time in your life when you asked God about this particular situation? Like, hey, God, why is it that I'm the one that got to suffer and I'm the one that did right?
In this particular situation, no, I didn't go to God on this one. I just kind of chalked it up as a lost cause. I was going to do the best I could and just get through it.
But is there ever a situation when you did go to God and be like, you know, what's going on? Why this happened, God? Like, why you doing this to me? I did everything right. Why do I got to be the one to suffer?
I did, actually. When I was a teenager, my father and I would have lots of heated debates, you could call them, and disagreements. And I felt like I was being picked on. It was like nothing I could do was ever right. And, you know, I'd come home with the C and, you know, and I have to bring all my books home to study. But my sister, she'd come home with a D, and, you know, they're giving her praises. And I was like, I can't do anything right. This isn't fair. What's going on? And I was like, God, help me with this. What am I missing? And it took a while for me to understand that, you know, everybody learns at different levels. And certain classes, it was easier for me to apply myself and get a higher grade. And, you know, and for my sister in certain classes, it was just harder for her. So that D was like an A, and, you know, my C may not have been the best that I could have possibly done, although I thought it was good enough. So that was a learning experience. I appreciate it more as an adult now than I did back then, but it took me a while to understand that. And he had to reveal it to me because I just wasn't getting it.
Gotcha. I understand that. I would have been, my parents would have had to explain a little bit more to me about that. I mean, now I don't know if that answer would have sufficed. Whereas you're saying, you know, we all learn at different paces and on different levels. If I'm coming home with A's and B's, and I'm getting no praises, and my sibling is coming home with D's, and my parents are like shouting for joy that you got a D, yeah, I would have been a little bit backwards on that. I mean, I understand. I reasoning for saying why, because your sibling put all the hard work and energy just to get that, and they tried their best. And your parents might have seen that sibling was working hard to get it and put all the effort that it takes into it. But I would have wanted that same effort and attention as well for my A, you know. For me, Chris from the TX, what's going on, man?
What's good, man? Chilling.
I'm good. Thank you for joining the show tonight. I got a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
Tonight we're coming out of Jeremiah chapter 12, and we're going to read a couple of the verses, maybe the first 10 to 12 verses or so. With that being said, I want to know from you, have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you did everything right and the person next to you did everything wrong, yet the person who did everything wrong got the better grade or got the praise for whatever it is that they did, and you were the one that did everything right and you did not? Any acknowledgement at all?
Oh yeah, man. That's been my life, dude. I've gotten that a lot throughout my whole life. As far as you do everything the right way, you do everything the way people tell you to do it, or your mama and your dad said it, or your pastor said it, and then you do it all the right way, and then it's like you got an old dude that just, was cutting up the whole time. He go to school, it's all good, nothing wrong with that. He get his degree, got a little something, and then he becomes the praise leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, really, dude, man, you was cutting up the whole time, man. I've been putting in work, and you just, because you got a degree, that don't make you, So there's a lot of different facets, or even in the workplace, you put in your bid and you put your time in, and you're constantly delivering and you're executing your job, and then you got an old boy just barely making it, but he's making the cut, he getting the promotions, he getting the upgrades. Life is backwards, man. So yeah, it's a little, it's a gray area, man. Especially when it comes to that, man. It's just one of those things where you just want to go ham on somebody, man. But yeah, you can't do that all the time. That kind of keep you cool.
But give me one specific incident where that has happened to you. Like you mentioned the praise leader. Did that happen to you before?
Oh yeah, man. Because I've been doing that facet of music for a while now, and just because, like I said, don't get me wrong, it's all good, man. You went to school, you did it. I'm proud of you, man. But you don't have no work experience. I mean, you understand the chords and the keys and all that stuff, and the vibrato and the melodization, all that stuff. That's wonderful, but you ain't putting in no work, man. You just come right in fresh off the college block, and then you coming in taking over, dude. I'm a little salty because I put in work all this time. Got these people singing the way they're supposed to be singing. Got these people doing what they got to be doing. Then here you come. You ain't putting no work in. Like, oh, excuse me, we're gonna put so-and-so and so-and-so in your position because he has a degree. Yeah, that got me a little salty. So I was, I got a little heated after that. So I kind of did my own little thing, and it kind of catapulted me to do other stuff. But, it is what it is now, man. And that was one incident that really got me over the edge, besides the fact that Donnie McClurkin didn't give me no love. But other than that, it's all good.
Hey, so did the guy have a music degree or something of that sort?
Yeah, he went to Berkeley, of course, Berkeley School of Music. Yeah, I mean, come on, can't disrespect that fact, but at the end of the day, there was no experience with that degree. So at the end of the day, it was like, come on, man, I mean, I kind of went through the school of hard knocks learning music and learning, keys and chords and blah, blah, blah. And you just come along just take this Bogart in my job, man. And yeah, I was a little salty. You can't really be ignorant in the church, but, I really wanted to be ignorant at that point because I was like, man, come on, man. Really? You guys is just blowing me off like I'm nobody. I've been in here for like 5+ years doing my thing. And then y'all just like, oh, sorry, you can't use her anymore because, we got this guy from Berkeley. Okay, great, wonderful. So, yeah, one of those things.
You sound like you was a little salty, bro.
Yeah, man, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? I mean, you put in years of work. It's not like I put in a couple of months, I mean, that's years, man. I mean, developing folks and... I'm going
to be honest, man. When it comes down to music, and I understand your frustration. I understand where you're coming from. But when it comes down, for two instances, when it comes down to music, everything's about timing. And when it comes down to business, I look at the church as a business. From this perspective, I'm looking at church as a business. And when you look at it as business, sometimes it's about who's better fit or qualified or who you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the person that deserves to get the job is not going to always be the person that gets the job. And only the person that is up at the top can answer the question as to why they chose somebody else over you. So all that can do is make you work harder, man. It goes back to timing too. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe God wanted you to, see fit for you to do something else with your gift. So I understand you getting frustrated, but at the same token, I would use that more as a motivational, more so than anything. Do you agree, Khan?
I agree. That'll make you work harder, so when you get it, you'll appreciate it even more.
Right. It could be a situation where if you got it and you was ahead, maybe you wouldn't have set an example like you should have. Or maybe something in your life would have happened and caused everybody else to stumble, and God was saving you for something, to avoid you causing other people's. You can go so many ways with it, man. Everything again comes back timing, and sometimes it's about who you know, and sometimes it's just who's the best person for the situation that you have presently at hand.
True.
And that really what it comes down to. And even in church stuff, man, it's sometimes it's kind of funny because you have people who might have been dedicated to the ministry for a very long time, and they're loyal to your ministry, but at the same token, they may not be the best fit for the direction that you see going forward. And you don't want to piss off the people that are loyal. You know what I mean? I see a lot of ministries like this, going through that transaction all the time. Transition, should I say. Whereas you have the older generation who are your loyal ones, who tithe, who do a lot for the church, but you want to grow your church, and the older generation is not who you want to cater to. You want to cater more to the younger generation, but the younger generation is the ones who get into nonsense, who always, who don't tithe, who don't do the things that need to do to stay active in ministry. So you find yourself at a crossroad, when you're trying to cater to the young, but the young are not the ones that can be in leadership because they don't do the things that need to be done for leadership, So when you always look for a leader to lead something, you end up having to stay old because the young, even though the young is for the young can't lead it, because they have certain situations. And I know certain ministries deal with those type of issues. So, not to take no credit away from your hard work, man, but I'm glad that it was something that you was recognized and was able to get through it,
Yeah, it's all about development, man. Like, I've changed so many different hats, and I've changed so many different directions in my own personal life that, a lot, music is going to be my heart, but at the same time, I'm in a whole nother dimension right now, a whole nother level. So I got to be, and maybe it's just going to be a culmination of putting it all together, So, you never know. So that's why, for me, my 37 years of riding this thing out has been a true ride, and now that I'm where I need to be, I can really honestly sit back and be like, man, I went through hell and back, but it was worth it because of the end result was I learned so much through the failures, through the mistakes, through the wrong choices, wrong decisions, that I've become a better man. I've become a better person, and I've become more thankful for what I've been given, and not to the fact of, okay, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna do me and and all this other stuff, man. Being in the position now to give back, man, it's truly humbling and awesome because I wasn't at this point a year ago, not even 2 years ago. So for me, all of it is just a big blessing. It's a tremendous opportunity just to be an example, just to be in the middle of the generations and been through all those different things between the church set, between the world set, and be able to culminate all of that together within the business that I have and be able to put church and business together and be able to bless people. And I'm in a tremendous opportunity right now. So I'm going to use that as my foundation to impact people. And that's how I'm going to do it, period.
True indeed, man. And I'm glad God put you in that place to do so. With that being said, man, we're gonna play like one or two songs, and we're gonna jump right into Jeremiah chapter 12, and we're gonna read like verse 1 through I want to say the first 12, 13, maybe up to 15 verses, or maybe the first chapter. Who knows? The whole chapter. So depends on how much time we get into it and how much time we spend on it. So I have Chris from the TX. I have Carm in the building, and it's your boy Deuce. We're gonna jump into some music real quick. So you guys holler at your boy. And if you want to call in, 908-316-8597. Again, the URL is www.uberconference.com/C1Music. You can find us on the Spreaker network at Spreaker.com. And I'm not saying speaker. I'm saying Spreaker with an R. Spreaker. Spreaker. I know everybody think I'm saying speaker. I'm saying Spreaker. So it's Spreaker.com. And in the search bar, you look up C1Music.fm, and you'll see our show up there. And we have a live show going tonight. All right, so again, it's 908-316-8597. We're about to be back after this quick music break. Holla at your boy.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. Unfamiliar.
Away, away from the noise, alone with you. Away, away to hear your voice and meet with you. Nothing else matters. My one desire is to worship you. I live to worship you. I live to worship you. To worship you, I live. To worship you, I live to worship you. Oh. Away, 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 away from the noise, alone with you. Way away, yeah, to hear your voice and meet with you. It's been a while, but hear my heart cry again. To worship you, I live. To worship you, I live to worship you. have no words left, just say, oh, 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 oh. Just the voices sing it out. Oh.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. Unfamiliar.
Popular. She's never been an outsider. She's about as average as they come. Her family, they ain't too strange. They even get along most days. There's nothing too crazy going on. But sometimes she wonders if she's good enough. Well, girl, if you're listening, turn it up. Lovely, don't you know that you're God's
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. Unfamiliar.
C1Music.fm. The familiar, it's your boy Deuce. We're definitely in the building. Now we do all day, every day. I'm in the building with Chris and Carm. What's going on? Call us.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna try to speed through this and try to get through this so you guys don't get sleepy and tired on me. I know it's almost close to that time for you. I don't want to lose you. And I know Chris, you're about an hour behind us right now. But I know you just got off of work as well, so I don't want to lose you guys tonight. And for all my listeners, again, the number is 908-316-8597. And you can also join us www.uberconference.com/C1Music. Again, I want to promote Miriam. She's going to be starting her own show on my network here on Spreaker, and she's joining the C1Music.fm family by starting a show called GG Talk, and her show is going to be hosted on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same time, Eastern Standard Time, same information, go on Spreaker, look up a talk show, and you'll be able to find her on there, and you can use this information to call in, which is 908-316-8597, and I'm looking forward to a good time. She told me what her topic's about. I don't want to tell everybody yet, so I'm going to wait for her to get an opportunity to share with you guys Monday at 8:30. Tune in. Please listen to the show. It should be a very interesting show, and we especially want the women to call in and show some support. So I want to give a shout-out to Miriam and look forward to following your show and what God will do with you in the upcoming months and years that, you plan on doing the radio with me. With that being said, did Chris and Carm get a chance to read a couple of scriptures from Jeremiah chapter 12?
Chapter 12. Oh.
Chapter 12.
Yes.
All right. I am going to read, I was reading this, right? And I was reading it from the ESV version.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the ESV version of it. But I like the Holman Christian Standard Version a little bit better. So I'm going to read it from the Holman Christian Standard Version first. And then as we go through, I'm going to talk about the English Standard Version a little bit if need be. You guys follow me there?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So that's what we're going to do. Holman Christian Standard. We're going to read from that. And, all right, so Jeremiah, just to give you a background, Jeremiah is dealing with people at this time who are listening, doing things, following the world. He's battling the world himself with the things that are going on. You know, obviously Israel was being captured, so Israel is dealing with the stuff that they have to deal with. And Jeremiah is praying and stuff to God. You know, it's like some of the other prophets did, Daniel and all the other prophets. So Jeremiah is doing the same thing, and he's standing there in the gap. Interesting enough, Jeremiah is having a conversation with God.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And here, I like how the Holman Christian Standard Version reads, how this reads. All right? And it's kind of like, if you picture the conversation, you kind of can get an idea of how frustrating Jeremiah is. All right? With, I don't know if he's mad. I guess he's mad at God to a certain extent, but he's asking the questions. One that I know I would ask if I was as frustrated as him. All right? So let me just read it. Let's read the first verse, and y'all can kind of get an idea where Jeremiah's head is at. All right? I will read. Holman Christian Standard Version, Standard Bible Version reads, "You will be righteous, Lord, even if I bring a case against you. Yet I wish to contend with you. Why does the way of the wicked prosper? Why do all the treacherous live at ease?" Just that first verse alone. He starts off saying, "You will be righteous, Lord." So he's honoring God, saying, "I know you're going to do the right thing, God." Right? And he says, "Even if I bring a judgment against you," which to me is a very bold statement to say to God. You know, you come in to God and say, "God, I know you're righteous. I know you always do the right thing, but I have an issue with you. I know you're going to do the right thing even if I bring up an issue to you." You know? And he says, "Yeah, I have a bone to pick with you, God." Chris, have you ever been in that predicament when you had a situation when you felt like you had a bone to pick with God?
Yeah, I have. Actually, it's funny how this plays out, because it's like you get to a point as a human being, as a Christian, as someone that's been called, chosen to do something for God. You get to a point where your human intellect and psyche gets tired because you're so used to people of the world, how they can so easily obtain the things of this world, but yet it seems as though you're trying to, it seems like you're working twice as hard to obtain the same thing, but it says in your word that I'm an heir to the throne. So if I'm an heir to the throne, why do I have to go through what I go through? So I think it was one of those things where Jeremiah was kind of calling God out in a way, which is bold, because I'm like, dude, man, I mean, that's God. What are you doing, dude? But, you know, again, we're dealing with the Old Testament, so, you know, God will show up. And, you know, but Jeremiah, you know, he challenged God in a way as far as how he felt. It wasn't so much of judging God. I think he was just saying, man, I'm frustrated, dude. Like all these other dudes, I'm doing everything you asked me to do. I'm doing all the right things. I'm praying. I'm seeking you. La la la. How come all these wicked guys are going? You know, I think he was just kind of venting, man. And you know, I think that's pretty much ultimately what it goes down to. And we all get to that point. We get to that point where we want to vent, and it can get that serious. But sometimes, you know, God can talk to us in a way where it can calm our flesh down and give us comfort. And then, you know, God ends up doing something in the supernatural that he just shuts you right up. And there's really nothing you can do about it but just take it in. And you take the L on that one.
I hear that. Con, what do you think?
I've been in a situation before where I was very frustrated. And if you have an open relationship with God and you're always communicating with him, then you can vent to him, you can pour out your heart to him. So I think that's exactly what he was doing here. And, you know, later on, you know, God sets him straight. But, you know, that lets you know that you can go to God and tell him how you feel. But, you know, you can't get too cocky because you may be a joint heir of the kingdom, but he's not your peer. He's God.
Mm-hmm.
I hear that. Well, let's see what he's saying. I mean, because at the end of the day, I know he's frustrated. I look at the situation, and I'm like, there's plenty of times in my life where I could identify with Jeremiah here and how he felt in this scripture. You know, when you look at this thing and you like, God, I mean, like, you know, seriously? Like, you know what I mean? I'm busting my butt. I'm doing this and that. And, I mean, like, are you serious right now? You know what I mean? You got to sit there and look at, like, yo, like, am I talking to myself? Like, is there really a God? I mean, like, am I bugging here? Like, what's going on? Like, are you not listening? You know what I'm saying? Do you not hear me? So I understand, you know, he's like, I know you're God, And everybody, I know you're God, and I know you're the God. Like, you're the only one, you're righteous. And ultimately, your will going to be done. But I got a question. And I feel like that's how he's coming at God. I got a question. I got a bone to pick with you. And he's like, listen, I do everything right, and yet I'm struggling. And these guys here are wicked, and they have, seem like they have all the riches and glory and the fame. And that's pretty much what it seems like he's coming down. But let's look at what he says in verse 2. He says here, and I'm reading from the Holman Christian Standard Bible. He says, you planted them, and they have taken root. They have grown and produced fruits. You are ever on their lips, but far from their conscience. Verse 3. As for you, Lord, you know me. You see me. You test whether my heart is with you. Drag the wicked away like sheep to slaughter and set them apart for the day of killing. Verse 4. How will the land mourn and the grass of every field wither because of the evil of its residents? Animals and birds have been swept away, for the people have said, he cannot see what our end will be. So, this is Jeremiah complaining to God, like, God, you got these guys here, they're tearing up everything. We're believing in you. These guys talk about you, but they're not on your mind, and they don't have you on their mind. They probably talk bad about them, like, oh, you don't have a God. They ever forever on your lips, but they don't have a conscience about your whereabouts, or they're not conscious of your presence. However, they talk about you, so they're probably talking bad about them. This is my own opinion. And he says, and you know us, you know me. I'll do whatever needs to be done. You know what I mean? I do whatever needs to be done. But I'm saying, like, you got these guys here, and they're destroying everything. You know what I mean? And we're just sitting around waiting, like, yo, God was good. Chris, did you get that from reading this?
Yeah. I'm reading further in it, and I'm picking it up. Yeah.
You know what I mean, Carm? Did you get the same thing? Like, did you get that?
I get it. It made me think of the Sadducees and the Pharisees. They say all this stuff, but, the God they're talking about, they're far from them. They're just putting out stuff that's not in their heart.
So then, if you were Jeremiah and you know that these guys are not putting out stuff, would you still be upset and mad at God?
I'd be upset, and I'd be asking God, so when are you going to call them out? When is there going to be justice?
So you think he's mad because nothing is happening to him? Like, they're waiting for something to happen and nothing is happening? Do you think that's the reason why, Carm?
Uh-oh.
Carm?
Lost her.
Yes, at this point.
All right.
Can you hear me?
What about you, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now. What about you, Chris? You think that's the reason why? You think that, Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, do you think that he's seeing what's going on, fed up, like, that they take God as a joke, they talk about him, and he's waiting for God to do something, and nothing is being done?
Mhm. Yeah, it's like he's kind of ranting and raving at God. He's feeling a little salty, and he's a little into his feelings, and he's just like, Come on, man. You God. You supposed to be opening up the earth and blah 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 blah. blah. I mean, he's just going off, man. I'm just kind of reading further. I'm just like, wow, man. He's like, this dude bold. He's like seriously going crazy right now. Like you don't do that, dude. Like, I'm just trying to find what was the reason? Like, why is he even going ham like this? Like,
all right, well, let's see what he is saying, because part of it is God's conversation back to him. So at verse 5, and I don't know how far we're going to get with this tonight, but at verse 5, God is starting to talk back to him. So we see God is speaking now in verse 5. And he says here, and this is what God says to him. All right, he said, if you have raced with runners and they have worn you out, how can you compete with horses? If you stumble in a peaceful land, what will you do in the thickets of the Jordan? Verse 6, even your brothers, your own father's household, even they were treacherous to you. Even they cried out loud to you. Do not have confidence in them, though they speak well of you. Verse 7, I have abandoned my house. I have deserted my inheritance. I have given the love of my life into the hands of her enemies. My inheritance has acted toward me like a lion in the forest. She has roared against me. Therefore, I hate her. Pause. What does it mean? That's God talking. What do you think? What do you think he's saying there? What's going on?
I'm trying to break it down. I'm not trying to get theological here. Let me see.
Go ahead, Con. What do you think, Con?
Basically, he's telling you that you don't have it as bad as you could have it. You think it's really bad now, but this is child's play. I'm trying to get you ready to really go against some major things, and you're complaining. You're safe right now, but you're acting like you're about at the door of ruin, and you're not. And, you're just running with runners, not horses. So basically, these are people you should be able to deal with and be okay. You haven't gotten to the major leagues or the next level where it's going to be way worse. And even the people in your own family, your own house, can't be trusted.
Hello?
Yeah.
And he's also saying that the people that I love, my inheritance, I've been being good to them, doing everything that I can for them, and they're basically biting the hand that feeds them. So I've delivered them to their enemies.
Gotcha. Do I have a new caller? Do I have a new caller? What's going on, new caller?
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. I don't know if you was listening in or we was breaking down Jeremiah chapter 12. If you want to join in and listen to us and join the conversation. So okay. Carm, he pretty much telling everybody to man up.
Pretty much.
Basically.
He's telling Jeremiah, man, are you serious? Man up. I mean, is that what I'm getting?
Yes, that's exactly what you're getting.
Telling him man up. Like, yo, I don't want to hear that. Man up. You know what I'm saying? That's what it sounds like he's saying. He told him man up. But verse 8, where it says this, my inheritance has acted toward me like a lion in the forest. She has roared against me. Therefore, I hate her. Those are strong words right there. Yeah, I hate her. What do you think he means by that?
You asking me?
I hate. Yeah.
I'm talking to Chris.
I hate her.
Yeah, he's pretty much talking about everybody that that deserted him, his people.
Yeah, the church or his people.
Israel. Let's call it that.
Yeah. Israel is the people. So he's like, yeah, you try and diss my people, I'm gonna diss you, kind of thing. Yeah, he's just going ham on it. He's like, man.
No, he's dissing his people. He's saying that his people diss him.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to put everything together here. Yeah, he's like, wow. yeah. God's kind of like hammering and cheesing right now. He's just like, yo, man, really? Stop crying, man. Man up. Why are you acting like this? Like, really? Like, is it that serious? That you gotta be crying to me like this? Like, you got it good, bro. What's really going on? I mean, it's wow. This guy.
All right, so
wow.
so let's go further. We in Jeremiah chapter 12. We're reading verse 9 right now. He says here, is my inheritance like a hyena to me? Are birds of prey circling her? Go gather all the wild animals, bring them to devour her. So God is telling them, yo, go gather everybody around and let them. I don't care what they do to her. That's like saying I don't care what they do to Israel. So it sounds like God got an attitude. Caught in his feelings right now. I mean, that's what it sounds like, right? Caught in his feelings right now.
Yeah, it does.
What you think, Carl?
That's an interesting way to put it, but
yeah.
He's basically saying, I'm bringing the enemies down, and they can do whatever they want to do. I don't care. They got that.
Yeah, so he's saying like God's caught up in his feelings right now. He said, go gather all the wild animals, bring them to devour. Like, yo, go ahead, let him handle that. Verse 10, he says, many shepherds have destroyed my vineyard. They have trampled my plot of land. They have turned my desirable plot into a desolate land, wasteland. Verse 11, they have made it a desolation. It mourns, desolate before me. All the land is desolate, but no one takes it to heart. So he's saying all this stuff is going down and nobody's taking it to heart. That they're doing this to my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I made this stuff. They're doing it to my stuff. So imagine, just think about it then from God's perspective. A man came and he pretty much checking God. Jeremiah trying to check God. Like, look, I'm saying though, God, like, you got these people here. They doing all this stuff. They living, eating, doing good. And, you know what I'm saying? We're waiting for you to do something. And it's kind of like, God is like, yeah, well, who you? Like, you should have man up and did something. Like, you crying at me. Like, yo, go get more people to devour what they doing. Y'all didn't take it to heart while they was doing it. You know? He's kind of like, listen, man, like, crying now, like, you want me to do something, or you ain't want to step up to the plate, or why didn't people want to step up to the plate in response to why you ain't love me enough to want to do something about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why are you crying to me now? Why y'all didn't take it to heart?
Mm-hmm.
Why y'all ain't feel some type of way that they were destroying my stuff? Destroying my land.
So
am I getting it right, Carl?
Yeah, you're getting it right.
Go ahead, Chris. What you about to say?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They basically was waiting until things got rough, and then now you're like, God, man, where you at? You kind of dropped the ball, man. So I mean, you can't drop a ball and expect God to move if you're gonna blatantly do it and then you're gonna blame God for your mess. Nah, it's it don't fly like that. So, God just telling them, man. He's telling them love, pretty much. But kind of getting on.
So my new call. You want to say something to that?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want to add? Do you want to say something? Do you want to comment on it?
Yeah, I'm just listening, guys. This is my first time doing this. I've never done this before.
Man, I appreciate you calling in, man.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate you calling in. I see you and Chris around the same area, from the same area.
Yeah, we actually work at the same job. He's my general manager.
Cool. I'm glad he invited you to the show. I didn't catch your name, boss.
My name's Jerichiah.
Jerichiah? You can use this if you want, man. If you don't want everybody to know, but I appreciate you, Jerichiah. Check it out, Chris and Carmen, Jerichiah. Yeah. So we got a guy right now. Sounds like he's caught up in the feelings. He's upset at the fact that my man, one, questioned him. Two, that y'all was waiting for me to do something. You know what I mean? This is my land, my inheritance. I'm mad at the people because they didn't do nothing. Pretty much he goes to the point where he says, I hate them for it. You know what I mean? I hate them for it. I've given them everything. He sound like God sound like he got his, like they broke his heart. Yeah. Verse 7, he said, I abandoned my house, I have deserted my inheritance. I have given the love of my life into the hands of her enemies. That's what this one said. Let me see. I have forsaken my house, have abandoned my inheritance. I have given the beloved of my soul into the hands of her enemies. All right, so verse 7 in English Standard Version reads differently than verse in Holman Christian Standard. So Holman Christian Standard says, I have abandoned my house, have deserted my inheritance. I have given the love of my life into the hands of her enemies. So God is like saying, I let them. That's like you have a girlfriend and you know your girl doing wrong and some dudes is trying to rape her. You like, I'm going to lip her so she can learn a lesson. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
Maybe I'm too harsh with my example, but it's kind of like, again, that's how angry God was, to the point where as a person that you love, you're going to let somebody take advantage of him. Like you hate, you are that upset about the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then he goes to say that none of y'all took to heart that they was even disrespecting me like that,
Yeah, they didn't consider.
So let me ask this question, and I'm coming to you, Carm. Why would God say such strong words like that? Why do you think he would say? Is he just trying to explain to them why he really feels the way he feels? Or is it like he really hates them? Or is it like why do you think he would use those type of words? Like why are he going in like that?
I guess he wanted them to understand how serious this is, because they weren't taking it seriously that their enemies are coming in disrespecting what belongs to God. They didn't take it seriously then. So now that when they're tired of it, they're coming to God to say, hey, we've been waiting on you to fix this. And he wants them to understand the severity of it, because they didn't understand before he was complained to. So he wants to make sure that they understand it now, how he feels about it, that you just can't allow people to take over God's stuff and mistreat it. You're his people and you're not standing up for him, but he always stands up for you. He's done all these things for you, and you just kind of abandoned him and then blame him for you not doing your job.
Right. All right, so Dick, let's go further. So we had read verse 5 and verse 12. It says, overall, the barren heights in the wilderness, the destroyers have come, for the Lord has a sword that devours from one end of the earth to the other. No one has peace. Verse 13, they have sown wheat but harvest thorns. They have exhausted themselves but have no profit. be put to shame by your harvest because the Lord's burning anger. So God is saying, even though you consider they're prosper, they didn't achieve nothing. You know? He said now they're going to feel God's anger. So it looks like, from reading verse 14 going down, it looks like, and tell me if I'm wrong, it looks like even though Jeremiah pushed God's buttons, it looks like he got him to react and do something. It might have been worth it, because if you read verse 14, it says, "This is what the Lord says concerning all my evil neighbors who attack the inheritance that I bequest." Let me see, verse 14 on English Standard Version. Verse 14, he's saying here, yeah, so he's saying here, hold on. To my people Israel, I am about to uproot them from their land, and I will uproot the house of Judah from them. So he's saying here, all right, Jeremiah. We put the current events into chronological order. Jeremiah said, "Listen, God, I got beef with you." He tells him why he has beef, and then God goes into, "Dude, you can't be serious. You need to man up. You complaining to me. You know, I hate the fact that, you know, my people did this to me. You know what I mean? I hate them for that. You know? And y'all sat around and did all this stuff and watched people do this stuff, and y'all didn't ever take it to heart. But you know what? This is what I'm going to do." And he start going into what he going to do. To me, I don't know. Tell me, Chris. I think what Jeremiah did was worth. It was worth picking a fight with God.
Yeah,
what
he
you
got
think?
God's attention. Yeah, I think he got God's attention. As far as just like waking them up. Oh, you know, my one of my people is, you know, crying out. You know, like he was like, okay, well, let me hear what you gotta say, kind of thing. Kind of, you know, it kind of sparked them a little bit to the point where it allowed God to respond. And you know, sometimes it does take that. Sometimes it takes us to really do something to not only show our passion for what we have in God, but just to, you know, awaken Him sometimes. I mean, you know, just hearing a cry from one of His children, you know, because God's passion for His people, I mean, is there, and He'll respond. You know, we just have to be able to respond in a way where He'll hear us, and not in a way where we're begging. And I think the thing was, you know, Jeremiah was crying out to God in a sense of he was calling him out, you know, in a sense of, you know, God, you say you're God. God, you say you're all powerful. La, 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 la. I serve you. I love you. You love the church. You love the people. I need you to show up and show out. And pretty much, you know, I think he connected to Jeremiah's heart more than anything, you know, because Jeremiah was passionate. So, you know, and God connects with us through the heart. So that's pretty much what triggered God, because he heard the heart of Jeremiah. Not so much so his flesh, but he heard the heart. And the cry of the heart is what awakened God to activate. I mean, that's my opinion. You know, I'm no scholar, but that's my opinion.
Nah, I hear you. I'm not a scholar neither, but based off of what I'm reading there, right, I want to say, going back to verse 1, Jeremiah is questioning, why does the wicked prosper? Why do all the treacherous live at ease? All right, so he's mad that they're living good. All right, he's mad. He's questioning God because other people are living good and they're struggling. And so I think God is saying to him, when I go back to verse 11, I think God is mad. I think Jeremiah responded and he questioned God, but I don't think he questioned God in the right way. So I think it took God to show him how angry he was, because God is saying to him, well, dude, why you ain't taking the heart of these people? Actually, you're coming to me complaining that I'm not doing nothing, or you're coming to me complaining that, all these other people are eating good and you struggling. Well, why didn't you take it to heart that they're eating good on my land? You coming to me asking me what I'm going to do instead of you coming to me saying, God, we should do something because these people are taking advantage of you. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I'm reading it here, because I'm looking at it, and he's questioning God, like, why does the way of the wicked prosper? So he's asking, he's not mad. He's mad at God because they're prospering, but he's not mad at them for prospering on God, taking advantage of God's inheritance, because God, it was intended for Jeremiah and his people to prosper. So it's like he's not mad that they're not prospering. He's not mad at the fact that they're not prospering. How can I say this? I don't know if I'm saying it right. He's not mad at the fact that they're taking advantage of God's inheritance. He's mad at the fact that they're just prospering and he's not, and they're not prospering. So he's asking, why does the way of the wicked prosper? So I'm getting like, they're prospering, but we're not. And God is saying, well, why are you not mad at the fact that they're taking advantage of your inheritance and you're not? Instead of asking me why are they prospering, why don't you be mad at the fact, why don't you make it personal? And I'm getting upset at the fact that you're coming to me asking me this question and not being mad at the fact that somebody's taking what's yours. Am I making sense, Carl?
Right. So basically, I gave you a gift, and you let somebody take your gift, and instead of calling them on it or coming to me and say, hey, what are we going to do about it? You looking at me like, what you going to do about it? Don't ask God what you going to do about it. Tell God, hey, what can we do to get it back?
Right, but he's not even coming to God and saying, he's not even coming to God to say, what are we going to do about it, or what are you going to do about it? He's coming to God saying, why are they prospering? Their attitudes are, why does the wicked prosper? So he's actually, come to get money when they're not. That's like, if I could put it in street terms, it's like, that's like getting a new car, or having somebody get in the car that you want, and you work hard. You tell one or two of your friends that you're about to get a new car, and your father is going to help you get the car. And then the next day, you see one of your friends get a brand new Lexus, right? And you go to your father and say, Dad, why is it that James get a new Lexus and I'm over here busting my butt working hard and James got the Lexus and I didn't? And God is saying, well, why are you not upset that James went with you to the car lot, saw that you was about to buy the Lexus, or wanted to buy the Lexus, you know what I'm saying, and bought the car that you were supposed to have? Why are you not mad at James for taking the car that you were supposed to have instead of coming to me and saying, James got a Lexus and I don't? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel God is saying. That's how I'm reading this. Jericho, do you agree with me or not?
Yeah, I've been listening, man. Actually, it's kind of funny how, like this actually turned out, because I actually was asking God. It's funny because I asked God to speak to me today, and it's just crazy how things turn out. And then my boss, he sent me a text message, y'all phone number, told me to call the place that I called it, and y'all are talking about the very thing I asked God about. Because I was actually studying the Word, and it says in Book of Psalms, he said, if I was envious as the wicked when I saw the prosperity, and I was like, I couldn't understand it. I said, God, how can we serve you, and yet the wicked live in, immense prosperity and financial blessing, and they have all this stuff on this world, like cars, of money, nice houses, but yet we live in abscess mediocrity when you promise exceeding in abundance, according to Ephesians 3:20. And I couldn't really comprehend it. And I feel Jeremiah on that, man. I feel him to the heart, bro, on that, because like I can understand him completely, because it's like you being a king, and it's like your father being a king and you're a prince, and yet you see your father blessing other people, and you're like, Father, why do I have these busted up clothes and these shoes, and yet this guy is decked out, and yet I'm supposed to be your son? I don't get it. You know, it's like me being Solomon and David being my father, but David not giving me the throne that was promised me. You know, it doesn't make sense in this world. Right. It's chaos, man. It's crazy.
But God is responding back to him, saying, before God is answering his question, he's asking him, well, why are you not mad at David for being a bad parent and not setting the right example and taking advantage of all the things that I put in place? Because if you want to use Solomon and David as an example, David was a poor father. He was a bad example of a father. You know, David's whole life, David made bad parenting decisions. You know, he had a man killed so he could take somebody's wife. He made a whole bunch of executive bad decisions throughout his whole time being king. The only thing that David had going for him is he had a heart for God. But overall, David made some poor decisions as a king. If you go throughout his whole biography, from him becoming the king to the way he ended being the king, you know what I mean? Just chaos. When God, with Bathsheba, God punished him and said, you're going to have a lot of drama in your family because of your sin. And that was manifested from that point going forward. He had a whole bunch. He had to run away from 2 of his sons, if I'm not mistaken, because of the bad parenting that he had. Absalom, and I forgot. I'm trying to think it was another one, but I know he had bad issues. You know, going through his daughter got raped. I mean, he had bad parenting issues that he had going on. And so, long story short, I mean, he's saying, God is looking at him and saying, look, why are you not mad at the fact that he was a bad parent? And instead of making the bad decisions that he made, you know, you're mad at me asking me why such and such got this blessing and this person got that blessing, and your blessing was there. You asking me this question, but at the end of the day, I put the blessing there for you. It was that person sharing that information with you or teaching you the right or wrong way to go, the right way to go to obtain that blessing. So now you're coming to me with the wrong frame of mind. You know, so he's saying now I'm gonna give you these things because I love you, but I'm telling you that I hate the fact that your heart is not right, that you don't understand that I did provide the stuff for you. You or your people or your family didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting from that's what I'm getting from the story. That even though my father didn't teach me how to be a good man, so now I'm not a good man to women because my father wasn't a good example for me of being a good man to women. So, examples in my life, I'm blaming it on God, and God is saying it's not my fault. Mm-hmm. I planted a man in your life. He made bad decisions, and therefore all you had to see was bad decisions. So now you think that it's my fault that somebody that was responsible for making sure they taught you the right way didn't do their part. Now, I'm going to do my part and save you from the bad decisions so you won't make bad decisions. I'm going to make you aware, but at the end of the day, it's your choice to make the good decisions so that your son and your son's son will make good decisions as well. And that's how I feel that's how I feel he's dealing with Jeremiah, because Jeremiah's asking questions, but I think God is asking the wrong question. Why are you not taking it to heart that these people are taking advantage of my inheritance instead of you? You worried about why they're prospering, but why are you not mad at the fact that they are taking your blessing? What do you think, Carl?
I think you're right. changed his whole perspective.
Chris, you agree, Chris?
Broke it down. Yeah, I can definitely co-sign what you said, because that's just wow. Yeah, I can definitely co-sign on that, because it's pretty much, that's practical. That's black and white. That's to the point, without getting so theology, put theology in it and all that. I mean, that's the layman's terms version of what that was, and that's basically what it is. And just, you can't. You can't get mad at me because you salty and you didn't, be proactive. You can't get mad at me.
I don't know, Chris. You just cut out for a hot second. I don't know if I don't know. Can y'all hear Chris? Is it just me?
Yes. I heard him fine.
All right, we dropped him. Jerichiah, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So do you understand at least my interpretation of what I'm reading or what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Do you agree, disagree?
I understand your point of view. I understand that we're also not under the law; we're under the grace of God. As Jeremiah wasn't under the grace of God; he was under the law. So a lot of that pertained to him, and he was, back in those days, sin was imputed onto people. But now our sins aren't imputed to us because our sins were imputed to Christ, and God's not judging us for our sin. Because Christ was judged in our place, so we can learn from Jeremiah's example, but at the same time, Jeremiah was under the law himself. So, the Bible says in Romans 6:14, "For sin shall not have dominion over you, for you're not under the law, you're under grace." We're under Jesus Christ. There's a lot we can learn from Jeremiah, and I can relate to him because I can understand how he felt, because I feel like that at times when I see, Jay-Z, these people on Lil Wayne, these people on TV living an unjust life, unrighteous life, yet I'm serving God, barely living from paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, these guys are out here cracking hell wide open, and I'm like, okay, so the devil makes it seem as if serving God is unprofitable.
I agree with you, but, and for another show, I think I'm gonna do a topic about this. But I think if there's nothing, if you're not ever going through a struggle in your life, then you need to. If you're in a time in your life where you're never going through some type of pain or struggling in some vast way, then you should ask God for pain. Ask God to pain you or put a struggle in your life, because all that does is build you up, build character up, build you up for the next test. If everything is going good in your life, that's when you should caution yourself. Pain, think about it for a second. Pain humbles a person and teaches a lesson on how to deal with certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Pain, struggling. If you was a person that didn't manage their money correctly, was a bad person that managed their money, you won't understand or acknowledge that you were a bad person that you was a bad person that managed your money until you start losing things, until you start going through and struggling. And through your struggling, you will learn how to value money and and teach yourself how to spend your money wisely. And you'll start valuing the dollar, But it's not going to be until you go through that struggle or go through that pain and that understanding of knowing that, hey, I have to value this now. You know what I mean? So it's going to always be some struggles and pain. If you're never going through some struggling and pain, you will never understand how to be successful, how to succeed. I think part of the problem with these people that you name, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, they're never going to be happy because they're never going to be able to appreciate the things that they accomplished, because some of them things were accomplished easily. And they may take advantage of some of them things and the lifestyle that they live and everything else, and they don't live right for Christ, and you can't sit there and say that they're righteous. Think about it. God said if you want to be righteous, a person that's righteous going to struggle pretty much every day. You're going to struggle with doing good.
Yeah.
You're going to struggle with being righteous. being righteous is a very hard thing to do. He said in Matthew, I think it's chapter 7, that the pathway for the unrighteous is wide, but the pathway for the righteous is narrow. So that means that it has to be a struggle all the time.
Yeah.
In different facets of your life. And if you're struggling in every facet of your life, maybe there is a problem that you need to change on you. But at certain parts in your life, you want to struggle because it's a building, it's a character building of yourself. You know what I mean? And to me, can't stop to respect the hustle. Can't stop the hustle. Respect the hustle. Got to go through some hustling times to learn how to maneuver to maintain what you got and to keep what you got. I think struggling allows you to learn how to adapt and also how to maintain and have longevity. Think about it. I can tell you now, Chris right here on the phone. I know Chris from back in the day. When I sit here and listen to him, and I congratulate him on the store and everything. But I know some of the people out there, Chris. I don't know what you've been through out there in Texas, but I know Chris. I know the Chris from New Jersey. What the Chris from New Jersey been through. So I know when Chris told me he got a store and he's managing the store and doing it, I know you're gonna take care of it because I know he's gonna appreciate the struggle that he went through, especially from coming from New Jersey.
Yep.
And going out there and doing what he need to do to maintain and keep it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all of that is just a building block to get him to get him there, to humble him. Maybe he didn't have it right. Maybe God needed to throw some problems in his life. You know what I mean? To correct your incorrection, to perfect your imperfections. You know what I mean? We were born imperfect. So, in our attitude, the way we conduct doing things, in order for us to shed some of our imperfections, we have to go through some fire. If you have a bad attitude, in order for you to correct your bad attitude, it may take 4 or 5 struggles for you to finally become humble.
Yeah. Because it will. You will be humble. Regardless of one way or the other, regardless of where you fall in life, God will humble you regardless. And even if you come from a privileged situation and you had the silver spoon in your mouth and la 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 la, that's great, that's wonderful. But when you start elevating in God and you're trying to seek God for who He is, God's gonna break you and humble you. Why? Because we have to understand the God we serve. And how can we be an example? How can we be a walking testimony if we ain't been through nothing? And that's the fact of the matter. I mean, we got to go through the fire, in order to be an effective testimony. Because you can't touch nobody's life if you don't know what it's like to be addicted to anything. If you don't know what it's like to be divorced. If you don't know what it's like to be emotionally and spiritually molested, if you don't know what it's like to be homeless, if you don't know what it's like to lose everything, these struggles that people are going through now. We're getting into the time where Revelations is starting to play itself. And if we've been so patty caked as Christians, and we got so caught up in the hype of being a Christian and don't understand the struggle and pain of gaining prosperity through the grace of God, and understanding that this thing it's seed time or harvest. I mean, He tells us how He's going to bless us. He blesses us in strategic fashions. He is able to.
Hey, Chris. For one, your mic sound muffled. But for Jerichiah, I want to say this. You tell me a situation and this is an open-ended question. I'm not really looking for you to answer it. But you point out to me a situation in the Bible where God dealt with somebody who was all right, who wasn't struggling. Just about everybody in the Bible, even Solomon, he started off struggling. He wasn't even going to be king. His mom and I forgot my man's name, Nathan. Not Nathan. I forgot his name, but they had to fight for him to become king. He wasn't even going to be king. His brother tried to take his kingship. Everybody started off. When Jesus came on this earth, did he hang out with people who was making money? He helped the people who were struggling.
Yep.
Struggling is a good thing because it helps you connect with Jesus.
Yeah.
It helps God knows your heart. So I wouldn't necessarily say I don't want to struggle no more. I don't want to struggle on certain things no more, but I always want to be challenged by God because God is making me into a work of art.
Yep.
Tom, you want to say something, Carl?
When you were talking, I think you pretty much said what I was going to say or something like it, that in your struggles, that's an opportunity for you to reach out to God and to trust in Him. There are many times when you're in certain situations that God and God alone can get you out, no one else. So you're humbled in that situation, and it's a test. And if you don't pass that test, you're going to keep getting this test until you pass it. And you have to recognize God for who He is and to depend on Him to get you out of the situation, to let Him do His job and create that perfect work in you. And that's hard for some people to do, but if you want to make it, if you want to prosper, that's what has to happen. And each time you get on the other side of your struggle, then you're elevated to the next level. But you can't ever get elevated if you never go through.
True indeed. With that being said, unfortunately, it's 11:30. We started to get deep into the convo. I appreciate Chris. I appreciate you for inviting him. His name is Jerichiah, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Chris. I appreciate you inviting Jerichiah, and Jerichiah, I appreciate you calling in and participating in my online radio show. Hopefully, this won't be the first and only time, the last and only time that we hear you. Hopefully, you'll give us a call back, and Chris could be an encouragement to you. Chris, I appreciate you for inviting him again. Jerichiah, you want to give anybody a shout out or any last words? Anything you want to say?
Just want to thank God, man, for. I just want to mainly, man, I wanted to thank Him, man, directly for His grace, because, if it wasn't for His unmerited favor, I wouldn't know where I'd be today, because the Bible says I don't have to work or labor for His grace. It's believed in. It's something I put my faith in. I'm not elevated through my works. I'm elevated by His grace through my faith in Jesus Christ. So if anything, man, I glorify Jesus for my life, man. Just thank Him, for saving me, and thanking Him for being there for me, even in the midst of chaos, man. Just want to thank Christ, man. But yeah, and that'd be it.
That's cool. Like I said, man, hopefully you call in again, man. I appreciate you calling. What about you, Chris? Any last words you want to say?
No, just continue to keep God first in your life, and pain is only preparation for your destiny. It's a defined purpose. It is a divine appointment. It's something that you shouldn't run away from as a child of God, and it's something that will keep you humble. It will grow you, and it will change everyone's life that you come around. So just keep God first, and that's pretty much it.
Cool. What about you, Carm?
I'd like to say trust God no matter what's going on in your life, what the situation looks like. Stay focused on Him and continue to communicate with Him, and He'll see you through it.
True indeed. I want to thank everybody for, like I said, calling in. Hopefully next week We will, on Monday, Miriam will be hosting a show for the first show, GG Talks, Monday at 8:30 EST time. I'll have my show on Tuesday, 9:30 EST, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Next Thursday, because of the holiday, obviously we won't be having a show on the holiday, but we will be doing a show on Tuesday. So you got Monday and Tuesday. You can definitely call in, join into the shows that we got hosted for next week. Again, I appreciate all my callers and my listeners for listening in, for calling in. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and God bless you guys.
All right. Peace.
All right. C1music.fm. The familiar. Holla at your boy. Be out of here. Let's get it.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1music.fm. The familiar.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Should I drink it up? Should I pour my life into the cup? Would that make me down enough? Am I trending? Am I trending? Should I show off what I got? Just so they can say I'm hot. Does he love me? Does he love me? Love me not? Am I trending? Am I trending? But you just wanna be the hot topic. But oh nah. What lengths will you go to stay topping, stay popular? So obsessive, like am I trending? I know that you heard this before, but choose it now. Who do you love more? You think you're serving God, but you're not. If you ain't that number one in that spot, it's all bad. But there's a chance to change all that. 'Cause I know that you're not all bad. You just think that people like that, so you act like that. Yeah. Should I go bad? Should I forget my manners where they at? Shouldn't I do these things just to keep up with the fad? Am I trending? Am I trending? Should I do it because they told me to? Should I jump off the bridge right after you? Don't care, I hurt myself, long as they think that I'm cool. Am I trending? 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 Care what you think? Care what you think? Am I trending? Am I trending?
Everybody want to be trending right now. It's just a big fan right now. Yeah, it's a fan. Got 100 selfies. Can't be that healthy. Am I the trending topic? Somebody help me. I need some therapy. Some Theraflu. I need my fit. I need my click. I need my view. So let's say they try to say that it don't take faith. They know. Then they replace grace. Now you obey, do what they say. You gon' do it your way, find out you wrong. Do what you won't, find out you wrong. He can save you though, really save you though. Don't matter what you want.
But you just wanna be the hot topic. But oh nah. What lengths will you go to stay topping, stay popular? So obsessive, like am I trending? I know that you heard this before, but choose it now. Who do you love more? You think you're serving God, but you're not. If you ain't that number one in that spot, it's all bad. But there's a chance to change all that. 'Cause I know that you're not all bad. You just think that people like that, so you act like that. Yeah. Am I
murdered this V. You murdered this V.
You are now listening to the sounds of C1Music.fm. Unfamiliar.